One of the biggest football games for historically black colleges and universities was right here in Shreveport. We'll have highlights coming up. Almost a week of searching for divers in this lift boat disaster. How legislators plan to do their part to figure out what went wrong. Plus, emotional.
And we're taking a look at our NSU Skycam. If you like the weather behind me, we have it for just about the entire week. I'll tell you about it coming up in just a moment.
Broadcasting live, KSLA News 12 starts now.
Good morning. You're watching our weekend edition of KSLA News 12 this morning. It's 8 o'clock and I'm Destiny Patterson. But first, we're going to send it over to First Alert meteorologist Jessica Moore. And Jessica, I know it was pretty gloomy over the weekend. Are we finally going to see some sunshine?
I think today will be the day, Destiny. And like you said, yesterday was absolutely gloomy. Friday was very wet and rainy. But as we take a look at future track, we do have some high, thin cirrus clouds out there. It's what it looks like out on our John Harvey Toyota Skycam. But otherwise, we are going to be making our way into sunnier skies as we go throughout the rest of today. I'm expecting this morning to still be on the partly cloudy side in some areas here, but not going to be overall too bad. Here's a look at this morning. Current temperatures, if you're heading out the doors right now, it is pretty chilly. Most areas in the 40s, all of the areas here in the Arklatex in the 40s, but we're in the low 40s near Idabel and DeQueen. Idabel sitting at 43, DeQueen at 41 right now. It is 45 degrees currently in Longview and in 47 in Marshall, Texas. So East Texas and up towards McCurtain County and Arkansas, you can see in those blues, and that's going to be a chilly day. Right now, we just made it to 50 degrees here in Shreveport, 47 in Minden, 48 right now in Mansfield, 45 currently in Natchitoches. As you go throughout the next couple of hours, temperatures will begin their warming trend, and as we head into the mid and late morning hours, we're going to be in the low 50s and then mid and upper 50s. So if you're headed out to church this morning, you may want to have the light jacket, or if you're headed out to work, but by this afternoon, it's going to feel very nice with temperatures warming up into the low to mid 60s for the lunch hour. Keep in mind, though, it is going to be another windy day. Winds today out of the north-northwest. Again, going to be blowing around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So keep that in mind. As we warm up, most of the area will actually see temperatures in the upper 60s. 66 in Longview, 65 in Marshall, Texas, 68 for Texarkana and in Shreveport. Really 68, 67 is going to be the high in most places today. Thankfully, we do have 0 chances of rain. Not only today, but Monday through about Wednesday and even into Thursday is still looking mostly dry. So if you don't enjoy the dry weather today, you have plenty of chances to do so as we head into the work week. I'll talk about it on the KSLA First Alert weather app. We do have the latest details in there right now, but I'll also talk about it coming up in just a couple more minutes. But you can download the KSLA First Alert weather app if you're headed out on the go and need the forecast as you go about your day today. Your 7-day forecast looks like this: upper 60s today. By tomorrow, we're talking temperatures in the low 70s, with still mostly sunny skies, keeping sunnier conditions here for Tuesday. Highs warming up just a little bit in the mid to mid 70s by Wednesday. We'll have a cold front continue to push through the area. That's going to drop our temperatures, especially for the morning hours. Look at those lows Wednesday morning, 40 degrees. Some areas could be around the upper 30s. I'll show you that coming up in just a moment as well. But we'll warm up by the end of the week, Thursday and Friday, with temperatures in the low 70s. Again, keeping out a look for chances for rain and thunderstorms on Friday and Saturday. I'll give you an update in just a moment. Destiny?
Just in the newsroom, a child was taken to the hospital following an early morning apartment fire. It happened in the Martin Luther King Jr. neighborhood at the Wedgwood Apartments just after 5 o'clock this morning. Shreveport fire crews arrived on the scene to find heavy flames in the apartment. The child was outside with burn wounds and was transported to the hospital for treatment, but there's no word on the severity of the child's burns at this time. Also new this morning, a Shreveport man was arrested in Ouachita Parish accused of felony carnal knowledge of a juvenile. The man here, 39-year-old Brandon WITTCOP, was arrested for an incident that happened in February. Court records say that a juvenile told deputies he forcefully grabbed her outside of her foster home and forced her to have sexual relations with him. After getting search warrants, deputies found searches on his cell phone pertaining to rape and attorneys. Court records say the juvenile was in contact with WITTCOP beforehand and was giving out her address to men claiming to be 18 years old. Shreveport police and crews rushed to the scene of a 5-car pileup Saturday morning. The crash happened near the intersection of Jewella and Hollywood Avenues. Police told me that one driver was driving down Jewella with a medical emergency. The driver hit 2 other vehicles before crossing the intersection and hitting another car, which then caused a chain reaction. One woman was taken to a nearby hospital with possible life-threatening injuries. Today marks day 6 of the search for the remaining 9 crew members aboard the capsized lift boat off the coast of Port Lafourche. Sea Corps is taking over dive operations underwater, but the Coast Guard says it's continuing its search efforts along the surface. 53-year-old Anthony Hartford lived in New Orleans and was an offshore worker for more than 20 years. Josh Roberson spoke with his wife and family.
All I can say is that my husband will get a world. To me, to anybody. You know, he was just always wanting to make sure something in the kitchen, which there ain't nothing in the kitchen now.
Anthony Hartford was identified by the Lafourche Parish Coroner as a victim of the lift boat disaster off the coast of Port Fourchon. Janet Hartford says the last time she saw her husband was March 30th, her birthday.
Bought me a cake and some roses, which the roses is still sitting on the table. I don't know why I didn't throw them away. They should have been gone, but.
Anthony and Janet made their home in New Orleans, which is where she spent Saturday after learning the news, surrounded by their children, siblings, nieces, and nephews. His family describing him as a giant teddy bear and a consummate provider.
Provider, loving. You know, it's just so much I can say about him. The kids was young, so he was always doing 6 weeks. As the time passed by, the baby graduated, I used to try to tell him, I say, Andy, you need to slow this down. You know, we okay, you're getting up there. He would tell me, no, you know you like that money, so don't act like you don't like that money.
Janet also works full-time at a nearby hospital. In the days leading up to the accident, she says she and Anthony were both busy working and kept missing each other's calls.
I didn't get a chance to just say bye. The last thing I said, I got a text on my phone. He told me the last thing I heard that my husband said was a hug and kisses. And that was it. That's the last thing. And that's a text I got to hold on for the rest of my life. You know, he didn't even get a chance to say anything, you know, because I didn't answer the phone. But I tell anybody out there, when y'all get that call, take time out and just answer if you got to say, I got to call you back.
And with almost no time to even begin processing their grief, the Hartfords say they'll lean on each other and their faith.
I look at it like God had the last word, and we all now gotta just figure out how to deal and really just be here for each other.
While the focus is on search and rescue here, Senator Bill Cassidy says a federal investigation will come from Congress. Cassidy spoke to our crew in Washington, where lawmakers are already looking at what they can do to prevent this tragedy from happening again.
We all feel for folks who lose their lives tragically. Most of these folks are young. Of course, it could be this in Port Fourchon, but it could be someplace else as well. We just have to recognize we must do everything we can to keep these from happening again.
Federal investigators are also on the scene piecing together why the ship went out despite weather warnings. Queen Elizabeth II and other royal family members say their final goodbyes to the late Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, died at the age of 99 on April 9th. An intimate funeral with 30 people was held at St. George's Chapel on the grounds of Windsor Castle on Saturday.
With grateful hearts, we remember the many ways in which his long life has been a blessing to us.
Details of the service were put together by Prince Philip before his death. His coffin was carried by a modified Land Rover, which he helped design, followed in a procession on foot by senior members of the family. Princes William and Harry were reunited as they walked with their father Charles and other relatives. For now, Prince Philip will be buried in the royal vault. He and the Queen will eventually be buried next to each other.
Now, KSLA First Alert Weather with meteorologist Jessica Moore.
Well, welcome back and happy Sunday morning out there. Here's a look at temperatures, not for right now, but possibly Wednesday morning. Yes, you're seeing upper 30s across the Arctic possible, and that is because we'll have another cold front move through Tuesday evening and also through Wednesday morning, and that is what's going to be driving these cold temperatures back into the Arctic. Maybe some areas could see a frost or a last freeze. It has been known to happen in April before, but this may be the latest on record that it has happened. Now, this is why, again, we do have a cold front that's going to be moving through Tuesday evening through Wednesday morning, but as you can see here, not bringing any rain with it. It's going to be a dry cold front, but still bring in some very cold air from the north, and that is going to still leave us with dry skies on Wednesday and Thursday. But Thursday into Friday, we will be bringing in a little bit more cloud cover. Here's a look, though, at Friday evening through Saturday morning. Some heavy rainfall will be possible from the northern tip of the Arctic to the southern end. Some models bringing in rain Friday afternoon and evening. I think that is a possibility, but we will be watching for it as we do get closer. Rain chances, or at least rainfall totals, not going to be too widespread or too full. We're looking at maybe traces from 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain. As you head out the door this morning, temperatures are chilly in the 40s, but promise you we'll get into the low 60s for this afternoon. Late afternoon temperatures will be in the upper 60s. I'll have your 7-day forecast in just a moment.
Vigils were held in Indianapolis for the 8 victims gunned down in a mass shooting at a FedEx facility. The suspect is a former employee who last worked for the company in 2020. So far, investigators are not saying if he knew any of his victims. Nikki Baptiste reports.
Mourners gathered in Indianapolis Saturday evening to remember the victims of the FedEx rampage. Komal Chauhan lost her 66-year-old grandmother, and today she was supposed to celebrate her engagement.
Just anything, I don't know, I just feel so empty. I feel like this is supposed to be one of the biggest days of my life.
Police say 8 people from age 19 to 74 were gunned down by former FedEx worker Brandon Hull. A year ago, the teen's own mother had reported him to local police, saying he might try to die by suicide by cop. Authorities say Hull was put on a mental health detention, interviewed by the FBI, and a shotgun was taken from his home. On Saturday, Hull's family issued a statement offering, quote, sincerest and most heartfelt apologies to the victims and saying, we are devastated at the loss of life caused as a result of Brandon's actions. Through the love of his family, we tried to get him the help he needed. Thursday night, police say the suspect began firing in the parking lot where he gunned down 4 people.
There was no confrontation with anyone that was there. There was no disturbance. There was no argument. He just appeared to randomly start shooting.
Authorities say he then entered the facility and killed 4 more before turning the gun on himself. 74-year-old John Weisert's wife showed us his photo just before learning he died in the massacre.
He does his job starting at 5:30. So that was it. I just said goodbye, have a good evening. I said that to him a couple times and he was gone.
The couple was married nearly 50 years. Nikki Baptiste, CBS News, Indianapolis.
It's really hard to fathom, but in the past month alone, there have been 53 mass shootings nationwide. Those are instances where 4 or more people were shot, including those widely reported at 3 Asian spas in Atlanta and a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado. More than 3 million people worldwide have died of COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic, according to Johns Hopkins University. In the U.S., the CDC says nearly 1/3 of adults in the U.S. are fully vaccinated, but health officials say the country is not in the clear yet.
The increasing trends in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are very concerning, and they threaten the progress we've already made.
The United States Department of Defense will be sending Moderna COVID-19 vaccines to military bases overseas. It's to make up for a shortfall caused by the pause of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine distribution. The Bayou Classic and the Port City Fest wrapped up last night, and the big game had plenty of action, but the only thing was that Southern seemed to be providing all of it. The final score was a blowout. Southern beating Grambling 49-7. This is the 3rd largest margin of victory in the history of this battle. Here's what the coaches had to say after the game.
This spring season to me has no effect on us in the fall. We're not even a shell of who we are and who we will be come this fall. And I'm not saying that to say that other teams will be who they are this spring either. Other teams will get better as well. But we just feel that, we got caught with our pants down, and that's part of it.
We do know that today we were the better football team, and we played very well. But we know in the fall it's going to be even more challenges, and we'll have to get ready. And this offseason is going to be critical to our development and getting our football team prepared to play. We don't know. We don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what the next minute holds. But as of right now, we're going to enjoy this one, and it's fortunate to get a chance to play another one. The Jags will be ready.
A cop in Arkansas has seen more on the job than most people have seen in their entire lives, and he is living proof that age is indeed just a number. Martin Savage has the story.
When Officer L.C. Buckshot Smith
how y'all doing?
Says he knows almost everyone in Camden, Arkansas.
Hey, Benny.
Population 11,000.
Good to see y'all.
It's true.
All right.
At 91, he spent more time protecting and serving than many residents have been alive. 56 years.
You ever missed a day at work?
No. Not. Just take off.
For more than 4 decades, he was a deputy with the Ouachita County Sheriff's Department.
First time you retired, how long did that last?
30 days.
30 days.
So, in his 80s, he became a rookie cop on the Camden Police Department.
I love to meet peoples, help peoples, and do things for peoples.
Chief Boyd Woody is Buckshot's boss.
So my first year in law enforcement in the jail, and Mr. Smith was my supervisor. He was over the jail at that time.
So he was your boss?
He was my boss, yeah.
Officer Smith starts each day at 7 a.m.
But I check in 15 to 20 minutes ahead of time.
You're always early. Somehow I'm not surprised.
Patrolling neighborhoods, escorting school buses, investigations.
How many arrests have you made?
I've taken more people home than I arrested, took to jail.
So you try to come up with another way.
Role model, just maybe Officer Smith's most important job, especially to younger officers.
Some of them come looking at policing as they saw it on TV, looking at policing as they see it in a big city. This is a community.
I tell them all, this badge and gun don't make no police officer. You got to respect folks. I want to be treated right, and I figure you want to be treated right.
Next month, Officer Smith will turn 92. The town's planning a parade.
Do you ever think you will retire?
When the good Lord says so.
Officer L.C. Buckshot Smith, serving beyond the call, because serving is his calling. And just about everyone in town knows it.
All right. Yeah.
We're in the middle of severe weather season, and today we thank those who help keep our power on. Today is National Lineman Appreciation Day. These men and women build and maintain the power grid that keeps our nation going. Look around you. If you're using power right now, you have a lineman to thank. I mean, I know I do. I mean, not too long ago, we were in a winter storm. So, kudos to them.
Absolutely, especially like you were saying, a severe weather season. We've already had to see them out and about for the last couple of weeks, and we're going to head into hurricane season, and they'll be just as important there. Shout out to my cousin Dion, who's a lineman, who is always getting sent to other places. Now, this week is looking nice. Temperatures mainly in the 70s, mostly dry until the weekend, and then as we fast forward into the next week, temperatures looking to warm up into the 80s. We'll have another update for you coming up at 5:30.
Thanks so much for watching KSLA News 12 this morning. I'm Destiny Patterson. Have a great rest of your Sunday.